But I heard you guys did have a great month.
We did, we did.
So
Thank
tell
you.
me about it.
Yes, it's actually the first month that we did 18 loans
Eight,
and we
18 loans.
yes, and then we hit 10 million.
And so 18 loan. Now, is there anybody like is there any other loan officers or is that just you guys?
Just us.
Just yes. So as
Yeah.
cool. Hey, so today I'm talking with Jing and Hamilton, and they are husband and wife, right? Where you
Yep.
guys
Yes.
where you guys located?
Long
In New York,
Island.
Long Island.
Long Island. You know, I've been to New York dozens of times. I've never once been to Long Island.
You
That's
should
all.
come.
I need to come
Come
up
next time.
there. You know
Yes.
what? Before the year is out, I'm going to come up there and hang with you guys for a day if you
Oh
guys
yeah,
would be okay with that. I'd love to do
heck
that.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd love to do that. I'm going to
We'll
do
We'll
it.
love
take you
that.
around. It's
I'll
a
reach out to you.
very suburban area, super family friendly. Yeah, totally think you'll enjoy it. It's a completely different vibe than New York City, that's for sure.
Yeah. So
It's more relaxed.
18 loans for the month, $10 million. Dang, that's some good jack, isn't it?
Yes, thank you. It's
So,
all because of Freedom Club.
well, I appreciate those kind words, but I think 18, I'm just doing some numbers here. So we use a hypothetical $3,000 per loan, just
Mhm.
for nationwide when we talked. People in
Got
Ohio
you.
make less, people in Long Island make more, but just so that'd be like 54 grand on a $3,000 per loan. Yes, that's some serious money. So
Yep.
so how does it work? So I know you guys are married, and I kind of know how it works, but tell how it works. Like, so there's two of you. Are you both producers, or one's a loan officer, or one's a process? Like, what's the makeup of it?
Yeah, sure. So our team is a team of six right now,
Okay,
and I am the team lead and the producer.
you're the
And Ham
boss.
No,
That's right.
I work for everybody. That's how I put it.
She's
I
my
work for
boss. Happy wife,
everybody.
happy life, right,
I
Carl?
know that, brother. You're a smart man.
Very smart. Yes, and Hamilton is a business development rep. So he develops a business, so he connects. He makes relationship for me, so I can focus on doing loans.
So Hamilton, are you licensed?
Yes.
So do you talk loan stuff, or so when she says business development rep, like what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, a typical day looks like me cold calling. I cold call a lot. I do dab a little bit into the DSP, so sort of a DSP manager in a way. So I do call, past clients, nurture refis, so I do dab a little bit into that. I do also go out to meet with agents, just to show up and say hi, try to spread that charm.
You mean like at associations and stuff like that, or like when you say go meet with them, like just walk in their office or associations or all
All
the
the
above?
above.
Okay.
Maybe a association meeting, an event, or I just walk into the office with, I don't know, a little trinket, just hey, just thinking of you,
Lollipops
and
or
right,
bagels or
right,
something. Mhm.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
So the classic bagel thing. I've often thought, Hamilton, that the people that make fun of the bagel things have never actually done it because I I made a small fortune off the stupid little. I didn't do bagels. I did Tootsie Pops.
Mm.
Unbelievable
Oh,
what those stupid little Tootsie Pops did. What I did, I brought the Tootsie Pops into the receptionist and became the receptionist's best friend. And then anytime she heard one of the real estate agents say, that darn loan officer I just finished dealing with, this or that, she would say, well, you know what? There's this really cool guy. You need to let me call him and have him call you. You need to talk to him. And so I found being friends with a receptionist is a really good thing. So
100%. And I think, I was on that other side of the grass, kind of poking fun as well. It's like, it doesn't really work. And you know what? I think oftentimes it doesn't work, but like if hit a large number of it, all you need is that few that really is super receptive and remembers you. And the next thing you know, we get a jumbo loan. And then it's like, man, that Tootsie, Tootsie Pop
yeah.
really means something.
Where do you on your 18 loans were most of those referred from real estate agents or past database or social like social media or YouTube? Like where does most of it come from?
So majority are from realtors, and we do have probably around 30% or so from past clients. It's either repeat clients or past clients that referred or like business referrals, but the majority are from realtors because that's what Hamilton focus on, and then that's what that's what we get. Yes.
So
So.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the Hamilton's job most of his time are focused on building the relationship with the realtors. Yeah.
Got it. And is that where the other 70% is coming from, or do you get anything? So is it roughly 70/30, or is there something else in there also in addition to the or is the real estate agents in the past database the 95% of it?
Yes, like real estate agents are majority of where our business come from
So,
right
and
now.
Hamilton, you're the one that starts that relationship. And so you get them interested, they send over referrals, and then do they still talk to you, or do you hand them over to Jing, and then Jing starts to talk to them, or does Jing, when they have a loan, they call Jing when they're looking, they need a little shot of cheer, and they're not the Jing very cheerful, but you know what I mean? When they like, do they talk to you and Jing just about business, and you about how about them Bears, or like how does that work?
All of the above. So it really depends on the personality. I would like, when I first started, I wanted to convert everybody. And you know what? Not everybody likes me and my energy. And I get it. I
I
could.
find very hard to believe that.
No,
Between the especially between the two of you, because you're a very charming couple, and
thank you.
so you think between the two of you, anybody doesn't match with one of you two, hell, I wouldn't want to work with them either, you know. So,
I think we have a nice yin and yang for sure. We have a
yeah.
nice balance. I fill in things that Jing might not be good at, and Jing for sure fills in a lot of things that I'm not good at.
So when you bring somebody in, do you hand them off to Jing, or does just Jing do the loans and you're still the main relationship person?
Again, it depends on the person,
Okay.
because some people really vibe with me. As far as the loan is concerned, that's all Jing. I tell them any loan
You don't do
related
any of
questions.
that.
I don't do anything. I know, maybe like very general information that I'm already using in my cold calls that I would
Yeah.
share. But anything beyond that, like interest rates or any specific details, I just say, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. You're gonna have to
100%
talk
Jing.
to Jing. Yeah, talk to Jing
All
about
right. Well,
that.
let me answer this. I know I'm kind of all over. I love you guys'
Mm-hmm.
model, right? And we've known each other what about 3 years or so?
Yeah, about two and a half.
2.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So Hamilton, you're getting these real estate agents to start referring over to you and Jing. And what I heard you just say is, jack crap about the loans.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
Yep.
how do you get somebody to start referring over to you when, by your own admission to them, my guess is very early in the game, if you have any loan questions, I'm going to let you down because I don't know. Like, how do you get them to start referring to you?
Yeah, I think for me, this is a very good question because I grappled with this when I first started. It's really like the riches in the niches. So for us, we really wanted to double down on what we're good at. For us is the non-traditional financing. So when I do call, I am definitely presenting, our abilities with the non-traditional space. And there's also a lot of things to it. Shout out to Steve Kiles. Like
Well, let's
the
not give him too much credit. Let's not.
No, but he had a fantastic video. It was like, what are your lenders doing to help your business grow? Like that was
Mm.
the first time I heard that, and that changed my perspective on cold calling because shrouded within that one statement is so much meaning, and there's so many times where realtors would pause, like, man, nobody really asked me that, and that's and again, it's so much meaning. It's yeah, it means that we care. We want to help them grow, right? We are looking to improve, so we want to get a survey from people. When I call, I'm giving very high positive energy. This is the energy that I'm using when I call people.
Who you
Um,
are.
yeah, it's who I am, right? So that in itself has a paraverbal in it. That sound is making them believe that there's, hey, why is this guy so happy? Well, things are maybe going great in his life, and maybe it's indicative of the team. So it's like a lot of these little things, nothing revolutionary or proprietary to me, things that you can people can find on YouTube on standard sales techniques, you know. But from there, just I guess making sure that there's rebuttals are always answered, not necessarily taking no for an answer. I mean, in the beginning, I really doubled down on that in the beginning because I wanted to convert everybody. But then as I did this more and more, and I know what we're good at, what we're valuable in, we don't necessarily need to convert everybody because not everybody wants to work with us. So, then, my energy shifts a little bit depending on how they respond. But that's kind of, how I get that initial connection. From there, I just scheduled a meeting. Me and Jing go to the meeting.
And so these are in-person physical meetings.
We used to.
Zoom.
We used to go in person, but then it just took up so much time. So we do a lot of Zooms now.
But you do the Zooms together.
Yeah.
Like for those, some of you are watching this on YouTube and some, by far, most are listening to this on the podcast. So you and I, we're on a Zoom now and you guys each have your own window. So when you meet with these agents on the Zoom for the first time, I'm just kind of a small thing, but I'm just curious about it. Are you on separate cameras like you are now? Or are you both sitting there side by side on the same camera? Or some days separate?
Separate for now. Yeah. Yeah. In the past, like we will do it together, but it's just more convenient right now that
Yeah.
we're doing it separately. Yeah.
Got it.
We're in separate offices, so we have separate cameras and
Yeah, I got it.
computers.
So he can bother
That's our
me.
secret. That's our secret successful marriage and partnership.
Yeah, I kind of like the separate camera thing though. I don't know, it's got a little bit more of a professional vibe to it, So
Yeah.
so you're calling these people up, you're saying, "Hey, if I could, would you?" kind of say, "If I could show you how real estate agent insert in thing, would you give us 20 minutes to show you how?" And a certain percentage says yes. You do the Zoom
Exactly.
meetings. Once you meet with these agents on Zoom, how long does it take before you get the first referral on, and I get it, sometimes it happens on the first call, sometimes it never happens, but on average, how many follow-up calls does it take to get that first referral?
I gotta say, I wish I had a statistic for you. I think it really just depends on the agent and the vibe. I mean, we've had, I called an agent and it's like they just had a falling out with their lender and they sent us everything. Or I'll call an agent that seems like we would vibe very, very well and then just never send us anything. So I'm still trying to figure out, statistically how to find that pattern. It's very I don't really know how to crack that code. It's just volume for me. Just the more we do, the more we hit in that chance of finding that need that we can fulfill.
But
Yeah.
what I see is what I experience or when I see Hamilton does it, that I think the secret is just the consistency. Like there's nothing else, it's just the consistency. Because Hamilton has a mentality like unless they just tell me to stop sending me, like stop following up or stop sending me information, I'm just gonna keep sending, right? So it's like constantly getting in front of their face, and when situation happens, we're pretty much like the fire department, right? Like the phone will ring like if situation happens. So just be there for them. I think that that's the most important part, and they will remember. And sometimes like we don't get a feedback that when Hamilton sends a video or something, a tip, we don't get a feedback. But when I meet with the agents in person, they will tell me like, oh, Hamilton doing such a great job. Like he's always following up, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. Now Hamilton's doing the job.
I'll keep him.
Right?
I think I'll keep him. I'll keep him for a little bit longer.
So she would tell me, and I'm like, really? This person doesn't pick up my calls or respond to any of my messages. Like I'm shocked. And then there's times too where it's like just very recently, with Dilsa, like I haven't reached out to her, super cold to me, just reached out to her on a whim like a year and a half later, and then had 2 fallout loans that needed help with, and sent us 2 loans, and one of them just closed for October. So it's these things is hard. I wish I could find some kind of a formula and like statistics
Well,
for you, but
I know what the formula is. So I take, so first of all, Gene, you're a very smart person, right? You both are, but it's the consistency, because I think, I think the secret code is, Hamilton, is you're calling them on the day that something happened yesterday.
Yeah.
right? Something happened yesterday, something that fell out. They tried to get a hold of somebody and they couldn't get a hold of them. Something wrong happened. Well, everything right. I don't buy tires until I need a tire, right? So you can sell me with the best deal possible. You can say, Carl, I'll give you four. You buy one tire, I'll give you three free. I got a brand new car. I don't need tires, right?
Right.
But now you make that offer to me here in about, a couple years. You caught me on the right day. So I think it's
Yep.
the consistency, Jing, like you mentioned. And Hamilton, it's
Yep.
when you happen to call them that day and something happened. And I find that happens about 16% of the time. That 16% of the time, something happened. And if the right person comes in, and I'd say that's the same with anybody I'm working with, if I totally screw up, I don't believe you're only good as your last deal. Like I've heard that, and I disagree with that. However, if I just had a major black eye and just by chance, let's say you, Hamilton, not knowing, of course, you happen to call that agent on that day where I just got a black eye, a stubbed toe, it was my fault. I got a chance of losing that one. And so I think it's my dear friend Ralph always said, Carl, the name of the game is to be at the right place at the right time. And the name of that game is to be a lot of places a lot of time. And
Definitely. It's a numbers game.
it's a numbers
Yeah.
game. Yeah. And I know, Gene, I know you're a numbers freak, where you're a very systems
Yes.
person. So by the way, so Gene, how long you been doing this, Gene?
6 years. Six.
So getting a fair amount of time. And then you were like 3-4 years into it, and then you invited Hamilton in the
Yes.
business to join you.
When I joined the Freedom Club, I believe it was 22. I believe it's 21 or 22 that I was still by myself. And the reason I joined was because I knew I needed answers. And Freedom Club has the answers for me. And that's when I joined. But I didn't have a system in place
How many
at that
loans were you
time.
closing back then?
Well, I mean, that was the COVID time, but I just started at that time, so I don't have my book of business. So probably, 6 to 8. But
So
I was doing it myself. It was very stressful. That's why I needed help at that time.
and
Yeah.
then and then you and then Hamilton, what's your background?
So I have a degree in criminal justice. So my first things I did was I was a CPS worker. So I investigated child abuse. And then afterwards I
Did
transitioned
not
over.
know that.
Oh yeah.
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. I did that for like, 5-6 years, and then transitioned over to public school teaching. So I did that for another 5-6 years.
So you were a school teacher. Dude, I did not know that. I bet that was I bet you saw some stuff in there that I'm glad you saw, but I bet you wish you hadn't have, kind of thing.
I don't regret it. I don't suggest anybody do it because it's a very depressing profession.
That's what I mean. I mean, it's
Yeah.
doing great good though.
Yeah,
But
100%.
it's, I'm sure, very painful.
Yeah, but I think maybe the bulk of my my verbal skill probably developed when I worked in that profession, because a lot of times it's like, I'm in not so great neighborhood. I'm in New York City, I don't have a gun or anything, I'm by myself.
Right.
And if I see a case of child abuse and I need to remove the kid, a lot of times in bad neighborhoods in New York City, you call the police, they're not coming because there's so much crap that's going on. So I had to kind of rely on my verbal skill to kind of get the parent to bring the child with me to the
If you'd have brought
precinct.
Jing with you, that would have, let's see the firecracker.
Oh, totally.
Wow.
So you did that, and then you went into public school.
Yeah.
What grade did you teach in public school?
I taught grades 6 to 12.
6 to 12, and then you've gone from that. You resigned from that, and then went in the mortgage business.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wild.
Though it never ceases to amaze me that we all come from, like, almost nobody. In fact, I can only think of one. Almost nobody goes to college to become a loan officer, kind of thing that, or gee, when I grow up, I'm going to be a loan officer. Yet it's incredibly lucrative. It pays, well better than, I mean, there's probably very, very, very few doctors in New York that make what you guys make, right? And so it's a very lucrative thing, and I think we all kind of stumble into it somehow. How'd you get started, Jing? How'd you get in the mortgage business?
I had a friend who's a loan officer that really brought me into the business.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was very grateful.
Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. So, so, so walk me through this. So, Hamilton, you got me to start. How do you get me to start using you? So like if you call me out of the blue and I agree to meet with you guys, so I meet with you and we do a Zoom and I go, all right, nice enough people, right? Why do I start referring to you?
Well, I think it again, it's personality thing. At least my opinion seems like a personality thing as well, along with being able to fulfill a potential need that they may have, specifically whether it's a non-traditional financing or not. But for me, I do love to try and differentiate myself from all the other loan officers out there.
How do you
Again,
do that?
through stuff that you guys offer. Like you guys have the agent animals. Oh man, I love sending those educational videos out to agents. In New York, we try to, cast our net as wide as possible. We don't just restrict to tilapias. It was a little difficult for me to kind of lower that number. I like to call it sushis as well, just
Yeah.
encompass some sushi because you know what? Like a sushi does a loan that's a jumbo loan. If they do two or three jumbo loans, like that's great for us.
Yeah.
So like I find that when I cast the net out a little further, I connect with different people that may need us, who may not be as seasoned, who may not have established with other LOs that can help them with the non-traditional space. We find that those are usually like great opportunities there as well. And then I like to also show up to their office, as I was mentioning before.
Yeah.
I really legitimately care because I do really care about people. And when I meet a personality that really vibes with me and really likes me and has common interests, whether we're gonna go jogging or hey, let's go work out or something. I don't know, just some kind of common interest. Talk about God. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find that those are the
Yeah.
conversion rates for them are a lot higher versus
Yeah.
people that maybe doesn't like to work out or
Yeah.
people that are already established with two other loan officers because that happens a lot. The agents that just they already have pre-existing relationships, and we're kind of just that third wheel or the plan C's if A and B doesn't work out, and that's okay too.
Well, apparently it's working out fine enough for you to close 18 for the month. And it's not
Mhm.
like that's a freak month. I mean, you guys have been doing well for quite some time now.
Yeah.
So, what,
And
go ahead, Jane.
yeah, and I think also that we focus a lot in the team, so so that so the realtor will understand that they're not just working with us, like as a single loan officer that has to do everything. That when they are working with a team, like there's always a communication. That if I'm on the phone, if I'm in the Zoom call right now, the phone is going to be answered, that there are files going, like the status will be updated and all that. So that's the operational part that makes the loan offer the realtors are very comfortable working with us. I think in general, New York is a very specific area that, because it has so many different cultures and different types of clients, different types of properties. So we invest a lot of time talking to realtors about what kind of business are they in. Like they're not just selling houses, or if they're not just a listing agent or the buyer's agent. We ask them about the areas they're in, like the type of clients that they work with, especially when they are certain different speak different languages, or they have a different types of clients, that we spend our time to understand that, and we cater towards that type of clients, and then show them what things can be done, what kind of creative ways that we can help them to get loans.
So, Hamilton, you met with me. We did the Zoom. how often do you follow up with those people, and how do you follow up with them?
Once a week, and depending on the vibe, I may call them. Or if the vibe isn't that great, I'll text them. Maybe I'll follow up with an email. Sometimes I'll do a video. But it really depends on the vibe. But it's always once a week for 12 weeks. The Freedom Club way.
And so you're doing the follow up. So now does Jing, do you get involved in that follow up, or you're strictly sitting there ready for the ball to be passed to you? I've got a loan, and now you're running with it. Is that y'all kind of stay separate on the marketing part?
So I'm basically the call center picking up calls.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. And we both know you're
I'm the
being very
lazy
humble.
person.
Yeah, you're being very humble by that. What's so I'll ask you, Jing, and I'm curious if you have a different answer, Hamilton. Jing, what's your biggest challenge?
Mindset.
Tell me about that.
That is from doing, I think I went over from like 8 to 10 to from 10 to 15, and then now I'm at 18. Like, what do I want to go to 20, or do I want to go to 30? I think that's what, that's my biggest challenge. Like, I think it's very personal. Yeah, like a personal challenge. Like, do I want to go there?
So some people say, hey, there's always more. And there is always more, but I'm never satisfied. I always want to get more. I always want to get more. And my suspicion is that's, the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musks and those people of the world, they're always looking for more, right? And I think it's great because they provide great products, and awesome. But I think there comes in wisdom and going, this is good. This is good. And I don't have a reason to do anymore because this is good. And if I have any spare time, I think I'll go walk down to the park. I think I'll go take my kids and we'll go, I don't know, go skate down in Rockefeller Park or whatever that thing is. Is that
Mhm.
kind of what you mean, Jing? Is like the challenge is like removing the why of doing more?
Well, I think it's well, the mindset mean like if I do more, that my entire business model is going to change, because like you said, the when you do 4 loans versus 10 loans, that everything's going to change. Like when you from 10 to 20, your operation is still going to change. So everything is changing like when you do more. So it's a mindset of the envisioning that if I'm doing 30, how the entire thing or how my life is going to be different. I think I just never really spent time thinking about that part. But if we're talking about the real challenge, or very a recent challenge, is that um, how do I remove myself from doing pre-approval structuring loans, because in New York is such a difficult place, to just be the person out there generating leads coming in and having my team completely taking care of the loan part, because I do see that a lot of team are like big team, they are built that they're not involved in the loans at all. I think that is the one of the mindset that I'm talking about, that do I want to remove myself completely from that, or am I confident enough to build a team that I can remove myself completely, or how do I get there? I think that will be a one of the biggest challenge, and that is 100% like correlated to the mindset part, where am I doing 30, am I doing 40? I guess that's my next
Mhm.
hurdle.
Mhm. And figure out if worth if the juice is worth the squeeze. Do you meet with most of your clients online, or do they come to your office, or like do you do Zoom meetings when you go over the docs with them, or what does that look like?
Completely over the phone.
All of the so the in
Yes.
person is practically zero.
Zero for now, but we are getting an office. We are actually getting an office space with an accountant, so that we will have some in-house consultations.
So right now you're making 120 grand profit for the year. And your team is completely virtual?
A month, yeah.
Wow.
120 a month, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So your team that you work with, y'all are not under the same roof. Everybody's working out of their house, is that right?
Well, everybody does work remotely, but I do have an office right now in here in my house where I have two of my teammates that come here only
Okay.
once a week. But that's really just for team building,
Yeah.
and checking in on a couple of things, but not really for work purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Hamilton? Biggest challenge? Anything different? Same thing? Something different?
Biggest challenge for me or the
Yeah.
team or Jing?
For
For
you.
you,
I would say mindset as well.
Of
Same exact thing. I think it's um I think coming from I was talking to Irene about this the other day. It's like coming from a government job, 9 to 5, where it's like I'm almost it's trained within my character almost that I gotta struggle to succeed. I gotta kind of take 2 steps back in order to take one forward. It's like it's just that kind of grueling mentality that I gotta kind of suffer a little bit just to succeed. And it's like I'm in a place right now. These last few years is just such a wild ride, just coming from being trained this way as a government worker to now working for myself. It's like just this struggle to kind of break free and be my own boss in a way. And it's kind of like, man, how much do I do until I feel successful? How when have I arrived? Should I ever feel like I've arrived? What does it mean to be successful? Like I'm grappling with this right now, and I deepest apologies to my lovely wife who's had so much deep patience to and but she's been very supportive to watch me kind of struggle through this because it's not an easy transition in
well,
that sense, that internal sense.
well, I got some breaking news for you, brother. You've arrived, right? You've arrived, and you're so worthy of your great success. Um, yeah, yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you,
So,
Carl.
so,
Thank you.
so, so, what's it like to go from, I don't know, whatever school teachers make. I don't know how much it is. Like in the last, what'd you do before this, Jing?
I was a COO for a company that I was doing operations for a company.
All
Yeah.
right. Were you making like what were
No,
you making? What were you making back then?
no, less than 100 at that
So
time.
what's it
Yeah.
like to go from, give or take a family income of like 100 to now million and a half, million and a half? Like what's been the biggest change? Real question, real question.
it's
What's been
a
the biggest
it's a
change?
great question. Yeah, it's
Well, I do have an answer for that. I think I was in a meeting with the realtors last night as well. We're talking about the similar things. Is that we have our integrity, right? Because our basic needs are met. So so we act with integrity. We make decisions from our integrity, right? So that we don't have to chase the money. We don't have to do anything that is betraying our heart. That is it's not a change. We're always that way.
I get it.
But that we're proud to be that way, right? I think that's the biggest change. Like it's the biggest impact on our
Freedom,
lives.
freedom.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you're not
Yes.
you're not tempted to try to talk somebody into doing something because you don't need it.
No, no,
Yeah.
we don't. Yeah.
That's
And one more thing I just want to mention that because we had a good month, uh, and things just happened, and we were at this mastermind that we actually had the opportunity to make donations. So we made a donation, we made a commitment of donating $1,000 a month to the organization that it's helping the third world country in need, and it's because of what we can generate and we are able to give. And that was amazing. We're very happy with that. And we send out to, appreciation email to clients and the little tag was October closing. And they are the ones that making it happen, not us.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
think
think
me
what's that?
and Jing has always been, you know, we don't come from like lavish background, so it's like we always have this idea of making the mark that we want to see in the world. And so it's like we're super grateful, to you, Freedom Club, and also, this profession, because it's like, man, this is still feels surreal. It's like, am I dreaming? And it's like so much, such a myriad of opportunity, including what Jing was saying. Like, we're really potentially making great change. Imagine, a year, 5 years, 10 years down the line, continuously contributing $1,000 a month to this organization. What great are we going to be doing, for the world? So it's just, man, I still feel like I'm in a dream.
Yeah. Good for you. Living in the Big Apple, making good money. You each have a great spouse, great career. Yeah. What's on the horizon? Anything new, anything different? Or is it just, hey, we got it going pretty good. Let's just keep doing this. Anything new?
I personally, I do love to dive a little bit more into mortgage advising, plus the uh, pretty much the money advisory part of things that I'm personally passionate about. And mortgage business is client are buying houses, but then that's not the goal, right? The goal is to be financially free. So we do want to put out more effort to educate and help clients and also realtors on that path.
Being
So
financially fit?
yes, I would love to do more of that educational piece, and that is the reason why that we have an office. We're gonna have an office in January, and we want to do more workshops and helping realtors and helping clients in just financial knowledge in general. And that's another reason why I partner up with the accountant, because that's what she's passionate about as well.
I think that's a great thing because, and I know I'm not the first one to think this. It just blows my mind that the school system doesn't have a class in school on, and we used to talk, how to do a checkbook. Nobody does checkbooks anymore, but you get, like personal financial management and how much do I save and how do I save and working a budget for a household. That's such a tragedy, because oftentimes it helped. My parents didn't know because I grew up poor, right? The only budget we had was making sure there's beans and rice on the table, most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And so I think that's helping people out with that, Jing. I think and boy, it just falls so much into the home ownership and again, as
Mhm,
far as the real estate agents being seen as an industry leader that you are, so good stuff.
mhm.
Hey, and just wrapping
Thank
this
you.
thing up, is there something I should have asked you that I didn't? Anything y'all can think of that I didn't? Did I? Any question I should have asked you that I forgot to ask?
No, I'm good. I think just a shout out to Freedom Club that the reason I joined was because I needed a lot of answers. And I got all the answers from Freedom Club, and that's how we grew. So very, very grateful for it.
Well, very kind of you to say.
Yeah,
So, all right,
thank
and
you.
well, I've just had an absolute joy watching you guys and growing your business. And Gene, I remember I met you first, and then you brought this really nice guy along one time, and I thought, she probably ought to keep him. She probably ought to keep him. So, and
Um,
watching y'all work together, you're such a wonderful dynamic working together, and you have a
Yeah,
lot of similarities, but you also have a lot of different set of talents, and it just meshes
yeah,
together, just like me and the lovely Mrs. White, where we each have our thing that we bring to the table, and it's a different set of things, right? So it
yeah.
just works. So, well, it's an honor to be a part of your journey, and thanks so much for coming in here and helping me inspire others. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We
Anytime,
appreciate you,
Carl.
Carl.
Our pleasure.
All right, great stuff. Hey, as you're listening to this today, I'm starting a, new group where it's myself personally working with a very small select group of loan officers. It's called the Alliance, and yeah, if you're when you're ready to work in a small group of loan officers looking to massively expand their business to an epic level, much like my dear friends Jing and Hamilton, just go to carlwhitealliance.com, carlwhitealliance.com. There'll be some information in there, and we can see what it looks like with us working together, with the sole purpose of increasing profits for your mortgage business. So carlwhitealliance.com, carlwhitealliance.com. Thanks for watching the episode. Thanks for forwarding to your friends, and I'll see you right here on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again. Bye bye.